Well, hello there folks and welcome back to the channel. Going to be doing another gear review today on a product I've been sent through from one of my favourite camping companies, Wild Camper International. So they've sent me through their brass alcohol stove, just to actually have a wee look at. I've been having a little play with it over the last sort of week or so, just sort of testing it out, seeing what it's like. And I have to admit, I've been absolutely blown away by it again, so it's more a case of I really want to bring it to the channel, let you have a wee look at it. But I am glad I've got the roof on the shelter itself, or in the kitchen area at camp, because today is a bit wild weather-wise, so hopefully it's not going to cause too much problems. But what we'll do is we'll have a little look at the stove itself, we'll have a look at the components of it. We're going to have a little sort of play around with the configurations that you can actually use for this particular stove as well, which I really like the versatility of it. We're going to boil up some water, have a coffee, see how long that actually takes as well. Go have a look through the sort of pros and cons of them, and really why I think I'm going to be using this an awful lot more when it comes to my sort of wild camping trips in the mountains, etc. But again, just some of the things that you're going to need to sort of take into consideration. So let's start off, we'll have a look at the components of the stove itself. So there's your stove just there, and again it's just that always, the build quality from Wild Camper International is always fantastic. I really have to say that, it's always really good. So within this you've got your stand itself, just for popping your pan on top. You've then got your lid. Now the bit I like about this is obviously it's the, you can move that aside just to regulate the flame, because a lot of the alcohol stoves you can't regulate the flame, whereas this one's got that. And again, that's the actual stove itself. So that just unwinds, but say for instance you're in a situation where you finish cooking, you've still got some alcohol in there, flame's still going, you can use that just to sort of snub it out. Or alternatively, if you've got alcohol still in there, you haven't used it, instead of having to try and pour it back into the bottle, you can just screw that back on and then pack it all back away again. But the thing I love about it is just the versatility of it. I must admit, it is so light. So again, I'm going to go through the sort of configurations that you can actually have for cooking. But again, it's the weight to me that's just one of the big advantages. Now, when it comes to the likes of the bottle, just for the alcohol itself, I normally just sort of filter it into small bottles. I don't need to take more than what I need to take, sort of idea. So again, from the point of view of the bottle, which I'll show you in a wee bit, I can just sort of filter that down into smaller bottles and actually just take it for the camping trip that I'm actually on. But that's all the components of it. So what we'll now have a look at is the configuration that you can actually do for each individual type of boil. Okay, so you've got your sort of traditional setup, and then just pan on top. And again, we're going to get the flame going and put some alcohol just in a little bit. But again, that's just your sort of normal setup for say cooking bacon, etc. But the bit I really love about it is just that versatility. So say for instance you're cooking there, you got your flame going up through the middle, you've then got your pot, just fits on top. Again, so easy to use and so lightweight. But the way I've been using it, and the way I'm probably going to use it from now on, is actually more this. So basically you just slide your pot in there, and again everything's sort of held in place. It's really snug. But the thing is, you've got to make sure you've got the right balance. So again, if you are up on a hill, you're going to be looking for a flat rock, just to make sure that it doesn't sort of topple over. One wee thing with the likes of the alcohol flame is if it was to sort of tip over, you've got to be very careful that it doesn't spread. You know, so that flame's very important, just to make sure you've got the balance. So again, that's probably the configuration that I'm going to be using more often than not. But it is just the fact that you've got that different types of options for the different types of cooking. That's one of the reasons why I love it so much. So I just use methylated spirits, and again, this is a slightly larger bottle, but again, £3.50. You know, so that's for quite a large bottle, and again, it's just a case of sort of putting it into smaller bottles as required. As I said, you don't need a huge amount. But I do tend to use a match as opposed to anything else. And then just the way to test it, you can just sort of feel that there. So you can, although you can't really see the flame to start with, you can certainly feel it. But that's that going. What we'll do is we'll get coffee on. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for that to boil. I am going to time it as well, just to sort of see how long it takes. The one thing I have found, obviously an alcohol stove is going to maybe take a little bit longer than the likes of a little gas stove. But when I am sort of working away at camp, or alternatively I'm up in the mountains, I'm always doing something, you know, so whether it be away taking photos, having a look at other shots, etc. So I don't think the time side of things is going to be a dramatic difference from my point of view, or an issue from my point of view, I should say. If it takes another couple of minutes longer than maybe the likes of a gas stove, well, so be it. But while you're out enjoying the wilderness, it's not that much of a problem. So what we'll do is we'll have a little look, see how long that actually takes to boil, and then we'll get our coffee. Okay, so that was 9 minutes 50 for it to boil, which again is not actually that bad at all. And what I'm going to do is, that's more or less all of the flame burnt. I'm just going to snuff it out just with the top. And again, as I said, if I wanted that sort of to keep it on the boil, if I want a second cup or whatever at all, I could just put the regulator on, twist that around a little bit, and then actually just sort of continue on the sort of boil for a little bit longer. But that's it, I just love the versatility of it. The other big thing to me again is weight. You know, so when I am going into the mountains, every gram helps. You know, if my bag's sort of like 13 to 15 kilos, if I can save a little bit of weight, I can. Now, if you were to take up the proper bottle, I said by the time you've got that bottle plus your stove, etc. as well, you're probably going to be a similar sort of weight to the gas stove. Again, but from my point of view, I just sort of put that in a smaller bottle, and then you are definitely saving weight without a shadow of a doubt. Not a huge amount, but definitely saving weight. But I just love the simplicity of it. You know, there's no mechanical parts, there's nothing for it to go wrong. You know, it just does make it so much easier. And again, I think this is going to be brilliant. I'm really looking forward to taking it up and trying it out in a couple of wild camps over the next sort of few months. So again, it's something that I've not used more. Normally I use the gas, but I definitely will be trying this out just to sort of see, because I'm loving the setup of it just now. And again, even at camp, you know, instead of actually having to start up an actual fire, a little twig stove or whatever it is, just being able to sort of pop that on, get a boil on, get a cup of coffee on, it just makes life so much easier. The other thing I found quite good as well is it actually all cools down really quickly. So again, I can just sort of get everything sort of popped away again, just with the cover. And even the bag, you know, even the bag that it actually comes with, again, that's sort of really good build quality, and you sort of know it's going to last. Just this has it back, sort of pull cord at the top, and again, that's it away. So I'm just going to slowly have my coffee, enjoy the rest of the afternoon, even though the weather is sort of looking as if it's going to be a little bit on the wild side. But overall, really impressed, you know, really impressed, as I always am with their equipment. So I do want to say a massive thanks to Wild Camping International for sort of sending it through, and also supporting the channel so much over the last week while. So I'm going to pop a link to the product below, have a little look at it. If you do have any questions at all, feel free, again, just pop a question below and I'll be happy to answer. But no, overall, very impressed, and it's definitely something I'll be using in the future. I'm really excited about. So thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.